Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the many Search for Truth rules already given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us. And really, it's so important for host lives to remember that host lives do not have legal standing under divine law, and to not get snippy when we see souls breaking the rules, because it would be like a dog getting snippy with a human, or a tree getting snippy with a human. The dogs and the trees don't fare well.
That's right.
They don't have legal standing. For whom is the message, and why do you ask? And what we have is a parade of souls who don't live by the rules, and the rules are that we're supposed to do what we were born to do, what we have come into experiences of sentience to do. We're supposed to fulfill our destinies, and the divine plans are woven from all the individual plans to form a plan that works. And when we have too many people, i.e. 99.99999% of humanity refusing to do what they committed to doing in their sacred vows to Spirit, obviously we don't have a plan that works.
That's right.
For whom is the message, and why do you ask? And which way is up? Which way is up? Are you guys aware that souls are unable to tell? High quality souls, 500,000 high quality hotshot souls, were unable to tell which way is up because of the astral turbulence and density. And if we can't tell which way is up, how are we supposed to fulfill our assignment? And we're not asking in a snippy way, we're curious. How are we supposed to fulfill our assignment to reestablish upward flow? Which way is up? We've got to know which way is up in order to be able to reestablish upward flow.
That's true.
Which way is up? And all we see is that what looks like a rotting margin of an egg, and it's kind of like an egg with a really, really thin shell, and it's rotting in one area, giving it a soft, permeable barrier, might be permeable.
That's right.
Aim for there and try to get a message out saying what has worked in other black holes of corruption to stop the cycles of destruction, to break the cycles of bullying, to break the cycles of corruption, to stop the destruction in a fair and just way. What has worked elsewhere in other black holes of corruption? And looking at it from outside that shell, I can see something kind of like bubbling.
That's
looks like
true.
Bubbling pus is what it looks like.
That's what it looks
quite
like.
Nasty. All right. What has worked in other black holes of corruption to stop the destruction in a fair and just way? And will anyone go for help? Will anyone who is here, any souls present, will you please just go for help and just go up to that? See, that presence is not going to respond. It's going to respond the way they always do. We've been doing this since, somebody's looking at their watch. Like since 2014, we've been going through this identical process. And they always say, whoa, let's not be hasty. They always assume that somehow the data is being misinterpreted.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's see if we can find that one of the dreamers who was here last night, who had just, because it was time to go check the devices, comes in to check these recording devices, and he thinks they're all malfunctioning. They're supposed to be picking up something that screams for help, falls inside that category.
That's true.
And they're supposed to pick it up for hundreds of miles around, and there's like 15 at one location, so that there's 15 layers of backup, and he feels all very sure that. Therefore, that's a reasonable facility. But what seems to have happened is, as those sensors were being dropped into place, even coming down through the atmosphere and the astrals, maybe it was already recording the screams for help. And in the receiving rooms, it was being dialed down as static or white noise,
that's right.
or something that was not to be paid attention to. And it screams for help. And so this gentleman has come in the overnight to just, it's time's up, time to do my routine maintenance. And he says, well, these aren't working. And he moves them apart, and they're still not working, and they're not picking up noise that's like 3 inches away, even though it's supposed to be picking up noise from hundreds, maybe thousands of miles away.
Exactly.
And it's not picking up noise from 3 inches away. They've just been basically turned off.
Exactly.
And so the sensors have been turned off since they dropped in, which was however long ago in his dimension. They could be thousands of years,
literally,
in this time of ground zero planet Earth. And it feels very possibly to have been a problem maybe before civilization started. It's hard to tell.
I can track back to before there were farms.
Yes.
Before there was agriculture.
Yes.
I don't feel villages.
Yeah, but it might be since the land bridge, because if you go back to the land bridge, which was approximately 40,000 years ago, I don't find it there.
I don't find it there either.
So
okay.
Somewhere between... But if you go to the Sphinx, the earliest date of the Sphinx, there's big controversy about when the Sphinx was built. But one of them is approximately 9,000 years ago, and that's the one that makes sense given the geological data, and everybody else seems to just base it on, we can't explain how it would have been built that long ago, so it can't possibly have been built that long ago, which just... Ignorance and arrogance is really a dangerous combination, and it's something to be avoided.
That's true.
So sometime between 40,000 years ago and 9,000 years ago, because the sensors are in place at 9,000 years ago.
I feel
the
them.
Screams were already occurring then. Whatever it is that they're supposed to be on the lookout for was already tipping the needle at panic, urgency, act now. And it wasn't there at 40,000 years ago.
I can feel that.
But surely we can all agree it's time to act now. That would have been the ideal time to respond, was when the sensors were coming in, and the next best time is right now. So can you please do whatever it is supposed to happen when those sensors tip the needle of this level of urgency? And what has worked in other black holes of corruption to stop the destruction in a fair and just way? We're in the final wind down of humanity destroying all life on Earth. We're literally, we probably have under 4 years.
That's right.
We're so close. This is just so absurd that we're still as a collective pretending that this isn't happening, but that does seem to be the choice as a collective that we're making. And what has worked in other black holes of corruption to stop the destruction in a fair and just way? And again, this is this big idea. Somebody saying big idea. It's somehow emphasis to make some kind of point, to shorten the karmic cycles, to change this, somebody says, demented plan of delaying karma.
That's right.
Until after death, that plan has been proven to not work. And maybe it was worth a try, and maybe it wasn't worth a try, but it's had a good long try, and it's not working. And apparently, if you feel back to 9,000 years to when the Sphinx was built.
Thank you.
That plan was already there.
Solidly. I feel
Interesting.
it.
I wonder if it was there at 40,000 years ago.
Okay.
It just doesn't feel like there's any real plan.
Very vague
Yeah,
feeling.
squishy. So somewhere between 40,000 years ago and 9,000 years ago, upstairs there was a determination that it's too hard to figure out karma as we go. It's too complex. Let's just wait until after the life is over, and then we can crank the wheels, tabulate the account, and pitch the person into a life of suffering of varying degrees.
Yeah, that's the gist.
What has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles? What has worked in other black holes of corruption to provide guidance to the masses to stop the destruction in a fair and just way? Aim it through the shell.